spokesperson of pharmaceutical industry. He will deliver lecture on the changing landscape of Indian pharma industry. Before starting presentation, let me introduce Mr. Chakraborty. Mr. Subrata Chakraborty is a pharmaceutical professional having over 25 years of experience in the industry, handling manufacturing operations, quality assurance, validation, CGMP compliance, training and project management, with over 10 years in senior technical management roles. Apart from being subject matter experts of aseptic processing and validation, Subrata played important role in people, organization development in his past industry tenure. He has played senior leadership roles in global MNC like Cipla, Pfizer, Novartis, Freshness Kabi. Mr. Chakraborty is currently leading the GXP Fund Consulting Group, a global pharma consulting and technology solution company, as a principal advisor. He is an active member of PDA and ISP and currently volunteers as the PDA letter editorial committee from Asia Pacific region. He is a member of working group of Society for Sterility Assurance Professional, which is a UK-based not-for-profit standard setting organization. He is a member of PDA Technical Report 22, Aseptic Process Stimulation Revision Task Force. Also, he is a reviewer for many technical publications and guidance, including PDA points to consider for isolated technology, PDA Technical Report on Technology Transfer, and WHO guidance on technology transfer. He has authored and co-authored several technical articles in journals related to aseptic processing, emerging technologies, and contributed many industry-wide forums for compliance and productivity improvements. So he's a great personality, obviously. So without wasting much time, I would like to request Mr. Chakraborty to start the presentation. Please.
Thank you, Dr. Hussain, and I must once again thank Honorable VC, Dr. Shoykot Moitro, my principal, Dr. Pranobesh Chakraborty, and all other dignitaries present over here. I welcome all the participants here for taking time and listening to my presentation, my views on progresses that we are making in the industry. Let me start presenting, sharing my screen. Yeah. So today I'm going to talk on the changing landscape of Indian pharma industry. So this is a topic very close to my heart. Indian pharma industry definitely plays a significant role in global healthcare ecosystem. But at the same time, it's also going through a turbulent phase because of increasing market competition, pricing pressure, regulatory challenges, so on and so forth. Now, my objective of today's discussion would be to touch upon the progresses that we are making from a manufacturing standpoint, where we are today and where we wish to go in coming days. How can we embrace the Pharma 4 technologies to be really global #1 in this industry? So as I move on, I think Dr. Hussain has done a good job. I'll skip this slide. So I want to quickly introduce my company to you. I'm leading a company called GXP Fund Consulting Group. GXP Fund is a one-stop solution provider to pharma industry with respect to consulting, training, and technology solutions, which helps the industry in achieving its most challenging business goals. So we are serving the industry with regard to all aspects any pharma company would require support under the sun, we are there to help this industry. Specifically, our strength is coming from our advisory panel, comprising of industry luminaries and ex-regulators. We have a couple of them in our group. Best-in-class resources from across the geographies. We are providing these solutions in most cost-effective and time-bound manner. Our comprehensive service, which includes project management, qualification, quality systems development, EHS, process development, and operational excellence. And we provide innovative technology solutions apart from our regular consulting and training needs. We have, say, for example, we are working on robotic process automation to automate some of the regular processes which are day-to-day required in a pharmaceutical operation. Our training modules are also, we have a couple of innovative training modules. One of them I would discuss at the end of this program, which is to build a connect between industry and academia. There is also, we are also having a partner in US who is supporting us with virtual reality to be used in training, specifically in the areas where people cannot enter without training, and to train them you need them to be in. So this is a big challenge today in the industry. So virtual reality solves the problem. So there are several such innovative solutions we have under the banner of this company. So to know more, you can always visit our website or YouTube channel, where you get in the YouTube channel you get many such presentation where if you want to learn more on specific topic, you get them also. So this is what about this company. Now let me move on. I have a basic question for today. We say that we are pharmacy of the world. Now, do we really deserve this title? So I think I will present some facts and figures. We will critically evaluate that, how relevant this title for us. Now, let's see where do we stand today. Indian pharma industry is world's third largest by volume and 11th by value. It supplies over 50% of global demand of vaccines. We can always see that what we are doing in terms of COVID vaccination. 40% of generic demand for US and 25% of all medicines for UK. It's a significant role we are playing. India is second largest workforce in the world in pharmaceutical and biotech sector. India's domestic pharma turnover is rupees 1.4 lakh crores, which is equivalent to 20 billion US dollars. This is a 2019 figure, which was 9.8% up over previous year. In May 2020, pharmaceutical sales grew by 9% to rupees 10,342 crores. So overall, it's a big business for us in terms of the overall healthcare system in the world. Now let's see some of the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threat of Indian pharma industry. Now, if I have to talk about strength, definitely we have skilled scientists, technicians, management personnel at affordable cost. We have brain, which the world recognizes. We have well-developed chemistry, R&D, and manufacturing infrastructure. No doubt about it. Some of the weaknesses, if I have to see, we are traditionally oriented towards generic products. Low focus on innovative R&D and new drug discovery. If we have to be global number one, we must look at this area to build our strength. Missing linkage between industry and academia is a big challenge for us today. Inadequate regulatory framework for compliance and enforcement regime. Why should you think that regulators from US or Europe or any other country should come and tell us why we are not able to resolve our problems in-house with our own regulatory framework? This is something we must look at and answer. If we have to see the opportunities, we have a great opportunities in front of us. We can find about $65 billion worth of drugs going off patent in coming 2 to 3 years time period. Availability of diverse patient pool and strength in chemistry essential for drug discovery, which we can see always that what is happening in COVID vaccine development. We can get more confidence when these are tried and tested over a diverse population. So this is an opportunity for us. Licensing deals with MNCs for new chemical entities or novel drug delivery systems. This is a great opportunity for us. If we have to see some of the threats, regulatory compliance uncertainties, we don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. Which regulator is going to come and say that this product is not acceptable to my country? We don't know. That's a threat. Changing regulatory expectations and mounting complexities. Something which was acceptable till yesterday is not acceptable anymore today. There are some regulatory citations which we discover all of a sudden new. There are several such examples. So these are threat for us. Unrealistic ceiling on product pricing and profitability. Now, today, the major reason for drug shortage worldwide is because of declining profitability of generic molecules. What happens? Generic molecules goes, once they are off patent, we put a lot of money in bringing that medicine up into the market, and then slowly as we go on and there is a pricing pressure, competition from the market, the companies are not left with enough profit margin, which will enable them to continue manufacturing that product or marketing that product, and then finally those product goes out of the shelf. Who is the loser? Ultimately the patients, right? So this is a big threat for us. Rapidly increasing cost for skilled manpower. We used to say that our manpower are we are cheapest in the world, which is no more the fact. It's not true anymore. I mean, going forward, more and more cost we are incurring in manpower than any other thing. There are some European countries, they are now almost equivalent to our manpower cost or cheaper than that. So let's look at some of let's look at some of the regulatory concerns. So what I observe is these are some of the basic requirements which are not met, and hence these are cited to us, and these are cause for stoppage of production or product going out of market. Now, if you see, this is a trend of US FDA citation over last 5 years till FY 2019. Number of citations have steadily increased year on year. And if you see in 2019, this has significantly gone up. And these are not the requirements which are, all of a sudden they started asking for, Pharma 4 compliant, the technologies which are, very sophisticated or state-of-art technology they are demanding. It's not that. These are some of the basic requirements which are not met. Now, let's look at some of these as example. What is happening? Yeah. So failure to establish and follow written procedures applicable to responsibilities of quality control unit. Your firm failed to thoroughly investigate and any discrepancy or failure of a batch or any of its components to meet any of its specification, whether or not the batch has already been distributed. So failure to thoroughly investigate the discrepancy. Your firm failed to follow appropriate written procedures that are designed to prevent microbial contamination. These are related to sterile products. So sterility of the product is of high importance. So there are question mark on those processes. Your firm failed to clean, maintain, and as appropriate for nature of the drug, sanitize and or sterilize equipment. So related to equipment, cleaning, maintenance, sanitization, sterilization. So these are basics, and there are citations related to that. Failure to maintain production control or distribution record associated with batch of a drug product or for at least 1 year after expiration date of the batch. So it's record related. So this is a major concern, whether it is documentation or good documentation practices or data integrity. These are major concerns. Now, if you see, these are all US FDA citations, and then if we compare with MHRA, they are not much different. You know, the 38% of all MHRA citations in the recent past are due to pharmaceutical quality systems. Now, these are nothing but these things which I explained here. Investigation of discrepancy, failure to investigate things, and written procedures and quality management systems and things like that. Then 22% is coming from manufacture of sterile medicinal products. The major focus today is sterile formulations because of the risks associated with it being directly injected into your bloodstreams. And this is a major concern of any regulator. So what are the obstacles? Why the improvements are not happening? And mind it, all these citations, this is not a new trend. This is the same thing which has been there long years back. There's not much of change in that. So what are the obstacles? Obstacles are lack of scientific or science-based well-informed decision making. Our focus is more into tick box approach to compliance. So there is regulatory guidance. We want to really comply to them. So we simply do what is said in the guidance. We don't apply our brain. Human performance variation. We rely on significantly on human interventions in all critical operations or material transfer. Now, human performance is subject to variability. Even best of your workmen will not do equally good job when probably he has a fight in his family, or one of his family member is not keeping well. So you cannot rely on the performance of human being as steadily as any equipment or any machine. Fear to challenge status quo. We acknowledge the need for embracing new technologies, but we place more emphasis on regulatory expectations than on critical and risk-based thinking. Reluctance of companies to embrace innovative technologies, saying the reasons like regulatory questions, we have to address so many questions, more burdensome qualification or requalification of the system, additional time or pre-approval changes required, risk aversion. I mean, we don't really want to take risk. Why should we? I mean, all these years things are going well. Lack of knowledge about the technology, fear of unknown. I mean, we don't know. We don't want to try new things here. Capital and operating cost. Obviously, if you have to bring in new technology, you have to expend. I mean, you need to spend more money. Now, the question is whether there is a premium which is paid in the market between a product coming out from a state-of-art facility as against a product which is made in a manual system? There is not much. There are sometimes premium on, we pay extra for maybe a better packaging, maybe a better brand in terms of the name of the company, or a better aesthetics of that product. But we hardly go into the details of from which manufacturing facility this is produced, whether those are really automated systems or not. We don't care about it. So sometimes I feel manufacturers are not really getting enough premium for investing on new technologies. That is something is actually a derailer for improvement. Now, one of my very respected senior in the industry, who is a global eminent personality. He is one of the medicine man. I think from India there are only two faces, just to give you a perspective. One is G.V. Prasad and second is Kiran Majumdar Shaw. And he has been one of these dignitaries in the global forum, Mr. Hal Baseman. As per him, I mean, he says, our means of aseptic manufacturing, feeling, contamination control, monitoring, and testing have changed little in last 40 years when compared with other technology-driven industries, which is so true. I mean, robotic process automation or any other, robotic applications are so well, imbibed in say automobile industry, or even in the banking sector. I see so much of robotic process automation. The processes are automatically done on a hyper automation platform, but in pharma we are lagging behind. So these are the reasons that we are really facing challenges. Now, this is a typical scenario which I want to explain to you to get you more understanding on this perspective. Is so this is a sterile manufacturing journey. So in say 40 years back from now, sterile manufacturing used to happen in this kind of setup, where operators used to go very close to the filling operation, where the open exposed products are being filled and sealed. And then we realized that human beings are the most critical source of contamination. So about 87% of contamination coming in the pharmaceutical products or sterile products in specific are coming from human beings. They are the most biggest source of contamination. So what we have done, we have moved to a kind of a simple barrier technology. I mean, we enclose the filling operation and people kept aside. But they are not really that good, but then they are better than this one. Then slowly we move to, kind of a restricted access barrier, where, there is a clear barrier between product and the, operators. But there is always some air exchange between the area where operator is standing and the process where the filling is going on. Now, then from there, we move to isolated technology. Isolated is a complete isolation between the filling operation and the operator, where operator intervenes into the process through a globe port, where, with help of the globes, they, do any manipulation if it is required in the filling operation. And then finally, the globeless of isolators, where there is no role of operators here. This is absolutely automatic, where everything comes into a work cell, and then through robotic applications, the while filling happens, and there is no need for operator to put their hands in. So this is the best solution. Now you see how the journey of adopting this technology has happened. Now this is from 1980s, where first use of isolation technology in aseptic manufacturing happened. And single use system, which is always the best in to have disposable systems for manufacturing, because you don't need to clean or reuse the things, so it is always better to use and throw. In 1990s, you have a single-use system used for filter capsules or any bio containers. They have come in, and restricted access barrier system was first introduced in 90s, sorry. And then this is interesting to know that the robotic work cells, which I talked about here, was first introduced into the semiconductor industry in these decade, 1990s, and we are so behind them. In 2000 and year 2013, PDA Technical Report 33 for evaluation, validation, and implementation of alternate rapid microbiological methods were published. And 2002, advanced aseptic processing was a discussion point in open conference on sterile products co-sponsored by United States Pharmacopoeia and PDA. Now, advanced aseptic processing is something where you really do not have operators intervening into the filling operation of sterile products. So there is always a solid barrier between these two, and there is less chance of contamination of the product through human source. In the 2004, FDA published the guidance on which they mentioned about alternate microbiological testing methods or rapid microbiology. So traditionally we do the sterility of sterile products or microbial load assessment of the products through a traditional microbiological methods, wherein in the rapid method we have a different, where we get the results very quickly between 3 to 7 days time, whereas for a traditional method, you need to wait for 14 days to see a sterility result. PAT guidance, process analytical technology guidance, was first published in 2004. So, which is, 16, 17 years back from now. 2012 ISP survey for isolators. So they wanted to find out how many isolators are implemented in the industry and how they are using it. So they find that 25% of all operating systems, only 25% of the operating systems are isolators. So how many years? From 1980s to 2010, 2012. So only 25% have adopted this new technology. And in 2013, both the major regulators, FDA, US FDA and MHRA, came up with their office to support these innovations and emerging technologies. They had a special sale to help the industry to come out with this new technologies. But the reality is today, isolators are merely 30% of all new installations. I would discount wraps, maybe another 25 to 30%. But the isolator, which are ultimate in this, contamination control strategy, they are merely occupying just 30% of all new installations. Only 15% of the markets gained by single-use systems, which was first discovered here. PAT and rapid microbiology methods are still to gain a foothold in pharma. We are still talking about how to validate them, how to use them, and things like that. So we are far behind. We are slow in adopting new technologies. I think things are changing. Let's look at some of the key drivers for change today, what industry is looking for. Now, increasing patient awareness today and regulatory expectation, increasing market complaint, Some of the complaints which were never there in the past, which are now coming because there are more awareness today, more of regulatory citations on the topics which were not there earlier. Market complaints, market competition, cost competitiveness, quality differentiators. There is a high requirement of, if you want to be, you want to sustain in the market, you have to have differentiated quality. Because blockbuster molecules are declining. What do you do? How do you add value to the, I mean, on the first day I heard, other panelists talking about beyond the pill. So how can you do, I mean, go beyond the pill? Technology disruptions around the world, application of, AI, Internet of Things, robotics, around the world in different industry, we are lagging behind. So can we implement them and get the benefit? Globalization of pharma, complex supply chain. Because of globalization, we want to reach out to the market farthest from our location. So how do we do that? This makes the supply chain very complex, and we have realized how supply chain has broken down during our COVID period. Need for better reach to the market. So all this is driving for a change towards new technology adaptation. Now, COVID has certainly exposed our inefficiencies, our over dependence on human skills. We realized that when we wanted people to come in and work for us, they are stuck up in across the borders, or they are not well. They are not able to come because of lockdowns, and industry is suffering. We are not able to produce the life-saving products. Scarcity of skilled resources. When it comes to the right skill set, we don't have enough, because there is not a continuous development of pool of resources by which, I mean, we can ensure that the skill set is always available for the industry. Hesitance to adoption and adaptation to new technologies. I talked about that. Process reliability. All our processes, equipments are not always reliable. They break down without alarming us, from the beginning. And, we fail in our commitments. Healthcare system is not strong enough, that we all realized. Now, all this put together is a strong driver today for a change. Now, let's look at some of this. Let's look at some of this technology, what are the disruptions those are accelerated by COVID-19? Now, first and foremost, harnessing the power of science. We have all seen the COVID vaccine success story. A vaccine which is normally taking maybe 9 years to 14, 15 years has come up within few months, which is a miracle. Can we replicate this in other areas of this industry? We have seen height of partnership and collaboration, which has come into our help in this challenging times. Bringing excellence and speed in every operation through partnership and collaboration is very important. We need to leverage this further. Big boost in Pharma 4 transformation. The disruption in operating models towards more resilient and predictive nature of digital ecosystem is a must. And this COVID has really made us think towards this. IT as key enabler for business. If we have to go towards Pharma 4 or digitization, IT is a very important factor. And now post-COVID world, now every company at their CEO or C-suite level, they are discussing about IT as an agenda. This is a big achievement for us. Innovation as a key for business driver. Now, without innovation, we cannot move ahead in this journey. We need innovation in every aspect of our business, whether be it improving the quality, robustness of the product, or improving the cost or availability of the product in the market. Now, to do all this, it is very important. We must rethink on our talent or leadership, who would navigate through this crisis. Now, if we have to adopt all these new technologies, we need to embrace or on these remote working or sense of urgency, flexible working, managing the uncertainties, adopting these technologies of Pharma 4 transformation. We need a leadership mindset which is tech savvy, which really wants to adapt or wants to embrace these technologies or these changes. This is very important. Let's look at some of the technologies those are driving change in pharma. Automated manufacturing, continuous manufacturing, which I'll talk about, process analytical technology, artificial intelligence and machine learning, 3D printing technology, Internet of Things, and blockchain. So some of these technologies are very interesting for pharma to speed up their progress as being, if we want to be a global player in this industry. Now, let's look at what is continuous manufacturing. Now, you would all, understand or appreciate that in a typical batch processing, what happens in a API manufacturing facility, active pharmaceutical product manufacturing facility, there is a synthesis. Then followed by that, there is a testing or storage, and then we do crystallization. Followed by that, there is again a testing and storage. And then, once this active ingredient is ready, we ship it to a formulation manufacturing site where they do blending, granulation, tablet, processing, coating, packaging, all these steps. And in between each such step, we have a testing and storage. Now, in a continuous manufacturing setup, what happens? The entire process happens together as a continuous process, and testing and there is no storage in between. It happens within the processing line, and testing happens online. There is no need for in product testing at the end of each stage. The process analytical technology helps you in controlling the process, and in a way that if it is tending to go bad, it auto adjusts, and it also reports that how the process is going on. So advantage with these or opportunities with this is to reduce production cycle time, increased automation and better process control, less manpower requirement, smaller footprint, because you don't need so many storage space or work in progress space, and different equipments placed in a different places. So this is quite advantageous. The challenges with these implementation is cost of transition. Now, if you have a batch processing setup, if you have to transition into a continuous manufacturing, your existing machineries would not work. So you need to invest a lot of money in this transition process. So it is ideally suited in a greenfield project kind of scenario. Of course, there are regulatory approval and timelines and things like that. Those are always there. Now, I try to present a short video to make you understand how it looks like. Now, this is a continuous coater where, the tablet is basically fed into the coater on a continuous basis. And instead of a conventional pan where you load the tablet and, coat it and you take it out, this happens in a bed. And there are sprays of coating material which passes through this bed, and there is a air flow within this equipment which very well controlled, and this happens much faster than a conventional process. And it gives you an output on a continuous basis. You don't have to, you can run the process maybe hours together, so you don't have to really depend on a batch. And this can be connected to your a complete processing line. So this is just an example. Now, what is PAT? Process analytical technology has been defined by US FDA as a mechanism to design, analyze, and control pharmaceutical manufacturing process through a measurement of critical process parameters which affect critical quality attributes. Now, there are opportunities to prevent rejection of batches, reduce production cycle time, because this works very well with your continuous manufacturing, enables real-time release, improve energy and material usage, facilitates continuous manufacturing. Now, this is something which is very interesting area, which now industry is looking more and more towards it, because this controls your batch rejection. This control your processes online. Some of the tools used are NIR, Raman, ultrasound or UV visible spectroscopy. So these are some of these sensors which are used for this process. And here, what it happens is actually moving from quality by testing, which we used to do by testing the product quality at the end of the process, to a quality by design. Now, you design the quality of design the product in such a way that quality is inbuilt. You don't need to test, because testing always is based on a sample which you don't know that how much homogeneous is this sample for this entire batch. So this is always better. Next important technology is artificial intelligence and machine learning. Now, artificial intelligence has got a great usage in research and development, where the research and development work comes down drastically, which you can see practically what happened in COVID vaccine story, or its identifying the medication. But in manufacturing, there is still lot of work to be done. There is a great opportunity where, I think I must mention here that GXP Font here is working with a partner here on developing some of these tools which will allow making a model where the investigation can be happening. Investigation of a failure in a manufacturing setup can happen automatically through artificial intelligence and machine learning. It will automatically identify the areas of focus and where to improve, how to establish the corrective and preventive actions. Opportunities: assist in automation and robotics, reduced dependence on manual data management, early warning signals for process failures, aids in predictive maintenance. Challenges: the cost and implementation of AI project is huge or pretty large. Lack of qualified personnel. This is one area which we need to work more. If we have to implement these new technologies, we really need skilled professionals who can come and help us in implementing these technologies. Data integrity is an important area, because since it is dealing with huge amount of data, integrity of this data, or sanctity of this data is very important. And with the help of a robust system design or validation of the system, we can prevent the data integrity failures. And we have all seen the role of AI in current pandemic, in screening of available treatments, contact tracing solutions, predicting and forecasting the situation, discovery or repurposing the treatment and vaccines. So there is enormous potential of this technology. Now, 3D printing is another interesting technology where the objects or the medication can be produced in layers by fusing or depositing materials in successive layers laid down under computer-aided control. So simply what happens is, a doctor prescribes his medication for a patient. The pharmacist, compiles those prescription, and on real-time basis, it can print the product and make it ready for the patient. And this can be patient specific. I mean, for each individual, there can be different dosage and specific medication, which is possible through this technology. Now, the opportunities are tailored drug dosing, low cost of manufacturing, because you don't need so many machines, so many people involved in it. With few machine setup, you can produce the product. On-demand manufacturing, you don't have to store so many products under WIP. Lower manufacturing plant footprint. Some of the challenges are cost of transition, adaptation to existing facility, and regulatory approval timeline. So, certainly, I mean, with your existing machines or existing setup, you can't produce this type of product. So you need a different setup. So those are definitely the challenges. These are well suited in a new project or a greenfield project. It's a short video. Before that, I must tell you that the first 3D printed drug was approved by FDA from a company called PHARMA. This product was for epilepsy. Now, I will show you the simple video which shows how this works. This is a simple printer which produces the product, and I mean, it's ready. I mean, there is not a big deal, although there is a huge technology involved in it. But for a pharmaceutical manufacturer, it is so easy. Now, the last technology which I want to talk about is the blockchain. Now, blockchain is a distributed ledger technology. It maintains an ordeal list of transactions that occur between members of a network, which enables decentralized ledger of trusted data, a shared record book. Now, it's simple as like suppose a manufacturer produces a drug, and the data is stored in a blockchain. The same data is transferred along with the product to the wholesaler, to the retailer, to the patient. And for each transaction, those are recorded in the blockchain, and the data is readily available. How it benefits us? Prevention of counterfeiting, because the source of the medicine. Compliance to pharma supply chain with respect to storage condition. That storage condition has taken place properly, so there is less chances of degradation during transit. Transparency and traceability of consent in critical clinical trials, and then improving the quality and reliability of clinical trial data. So everything is transparent, well recorded, on time, and this is available to everyone. Now, with all of this, we are moving from a today's pharma factory to future of pharma, which is industry 4 or pharma 4. Now, the advantages are we are moving from a suboptimal inventory levels, production fluctuation, scheduling urgencies, to a integrated planning, scheduling, optimized inventory level, obviously reduced cost of inventory. High dependence on operator skill for critical processes today. Here, you don't need to have so much of dependence on operator for running the critical processes. However, it needs overall smart tech-savvy workforce who understand these systems. High batch rejection rates due to process variability. Here in the Pharma 4 factory, you have low rejection with PAT enabled technology, with big data, AI, or other technologies in place. You have high machine breakdowns and associated process deviation, which can be predicted in Pharma 4 factory, and it can auto correct or at least raise an alarm to take corrective action before, so that it doesn't fail when your critical process is going on. High setup time and time to market for the products in a today's factory, which can be eliminated with say additive manufacturing or 3D printing, what we talked about. Lower manpower productivity and wastages of resources because of various reasons can be eliminated by augmented robotics and AI and machine learning, all these new technologies. So I want to share with you a short video which depicts very well about our dream factory for pharma. So as operator enters, every task is transferred into his device. So all the communication happens whether between man and the machine through his handheld device. So equipment automatically tells you if there is a problem which is going to come. And everyone in the floor gets to know about it. Automatically it raises the ticket for correction, and the maintenance engineer is notified about it. So these are kind of a augmented reality where the operator gets to know about the different parts of the machine, or where he needs to work on. I mean, these things are very clear. So they are able to fix an unplanned downtime by predicting and taking corrective measure before. Okay. So now the important question is, how do we sustain this momentum? We all agree that due to this COVID, there has been a significant momentum towards digitization or uh, new technology adoption and things like that. Now, how do we sustain this momentum? The important is we need to appreciate a strong regulatory framework in this country. Why do we not able to take corrective measures what we are pointed out by regulators from overseas? We need a agile structure to ensure efficiency, accuracy, and patient safety in all our operations. We need to invite new technologies or innovative technologies with different mindset. We cannot, rely on the concept of old wine in the new bottle approach. With existing technology, trying to modify it a bit and adopt something, or all these things doesn't work. We need to really appreciate or adopt or embrace these new technologies in a global scale. We retain our virtues that have revitalized during the pandemic. We have shown exceptional quality of collaboration, co-creation across boundaries, sense of urgency for saving lives. This needs to be retained and sustained. We need to appreciate risk-based, scientifically sound decision making. We need to get rid of a tick box kind of approach to regulatory compliance. Invest in productivity for larger interest of our patients. Today a major reason for a drug shortage is declining productivity of some of these generic molecules, and we need to acknowledge that, and we need to understand that quality and productivity are not mutually exclusive or not conflicting objectives. We need to strive for harmonized regulatory standards globally. Now, we have several different regulatory standards from different countries. For a manufacturer who is supplying to the global market, it is a difficult situation where he has to comply to several different regulatory norms. How it can be different when the science and patient risk based on the location is not different? For a patient, whether he is in Africa or in Australia or in Asia, the science remains same. The patient risk remains same. There is a need to increase focus on training and development. And this needs to move beyond the regulatory compliance requirement. Training is not to comply to the regulatory requirements. It is to really develop people who can really come and work with these new technologies, with these new ideas which we are talking about. And last but not the least, we need to improve our industry and academia collaboration and a government support towards it. Need to bridge the gap between academia and should augment industry efforts. Now, this is all about my presentation. Before I end, is one thing I want to announce here is, GXP Font has come up with an excellent curriculum to bridge this gap between industry and academia in the name of iGate. iGate is basically, we are saying, is a industry gateway for pharma graduates. What we are trying to do here is we acknowledge that due to this COVID, uh, the industry visit or vocational training courses are suspended. Now, uh, I have been getting calls, several calls from, in fact, Dr. Singh and Dr. Pranavesh and all other, my seniors as well as academias from various universities that can we accommodate some of the students. But, today the situation is there is a clear cut no to, outside visitors to manufacturing industries. And here, this is coming out as a solution to that. Now, going a step forward, you'd acknowledge or appreciate that in the industry orientation courses, what used to happen was student used to come to the facility, used to get, a outside the processing area view of the processes for some part of the processes, whichever would be running during his or her visit. Because the pharmaceutical processes happen throughout the shifts. Now, based on his visit time and things like that, I mean, he is able to see some part of the process. Now, in this course, what we are trying to do is we are trying to come out with a very innovative way of presenting the entire process end to end. You are able to see the complete body parts of the elephant. You just don't decide the elephant based on its legs or maybe its tails. So you can see the entire part of the process end to end through a virtual platform, and to come out with a complete knowledge of the processes. So here we are having some of these industry experts taking through these students for these courses, and we have so the eligibility criteria is B.Pharm, third year or fourth year students, or maybe M.Pharm or MSCs for laboratory related courses. So we have customized courses based on the interest area, whether in manufacturing also, whether someone is interested in sterile manufacturing or OSD. So we have customized course. We are going to talk about all the different operations involved in these processes during this course period. The tenure is of 3 months. So every weekend for about 1.5 to 2 hours, the classes will happen. And so if you are, any one of you is interested or you want to share with the students of your college, please reach out to me. So you will have my website address and the email communication. We can talk on that further. So thank you very much for listening to me. Open to questions. Stop sharing.
Thank you, Mr. Chakraborty, for the great presentation. This is really very informative. This is really very informative, lucid, and you have explained in a crystal clear way. Thank you so much. So let us start the question answer session.
Sure.
We have received a couple of questions. One question is, my question is why, this is from Sandipan Dasgupta. He is our faculty, in-house faculty of MAKAUT. He has asked why India are lagging behind to meet the regulatory needs. What are the reasons? How to overcome those? Number one. Number two, is automation and robotics will reduce the job opportunities or it will open some other opportunities in pharma industry?
Yeah, good question. So to address your first question, I think there are many reasons behind it. So traditionally, we have been focusing uh, uh, on the generic products. So since generic products is, I mean, it requires the speed to the market. So we have been not paying much attention to, uh, the technologies before we, uh, you know, bringing the product to the shelves. uh, I think this is a time when we need to, invest more, time, money, and efforts to bring out the technology. We I think it's all about focus, I would say. We have not been paying more attention towards it. I think we need to pay more attention. We need to look at, go beyond, complying to the guidances, apply the real science, and try to come out with a setup which is, uh, you know going to be very robust in terms of compliance as well as productivity. Uh, to your next question, on, uh, uh, sorry, what was it? Can you repeat that, please?
The question is automation and robotics, that will reduce, whether that will reduce job opportunities or some produce other avenues.
Yeah, so you have already given your answer. So yes, so it might reduce some jobs, but at the same time it will create some other. Because if I see, some of these big pharma companies today, they are spending a lot of money and resources in uh, building these new technologies, or uh, you know creating a ecosystem where these technologies can work. Uh, there is a lot of different skill set of people are required to implement and run on these kind of technologies. So on one hand, yes, there would be some job which will get redundant. On the other hand, some new jobs would get created. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next question. As you mentioned, the bridging between the industry and academia is a weakness. Academia brain resource can be better used in section of various aspects of industry. How can the faculties in pharma tech can be made fit to serve the industry requirement? Can university be the bridging of gap? As a fact, the faculty of academia is an undiscovered technical and scientific resource that can be beneficial for industry and pharma sector in India. I think he has asked how this gap can be reduced. I think.
Right. I think, that's a good point. In fact, uh, many pharma companies, big pharma companies, are allowing medical practitioners to come in and see the facilities and understand from where the medicines are produced. Now, that's good. If that is possible, why not the faculties should come to the industry, see the facilities? How, could be a part of their, a yearly review program, or maybe once in 2 years or 3 years, they can come to the industry, see the facilities, how actually medicines are produced, what are the new technology innovations happening. Why it is not possible? It is possible, very much possible. I think there is a need for initiative to be taken from both the end.
Very good suggestion. Kind of exchange program.
Yes.
Very good suggestion. Next question, the era of robotics, how the smaller and startup company, the like MSME, how they will survive?
Uh, See, this is okay. The question is obvious. I don't disagree to that. But then, uh, did we ever imagine that how uh, a poor guy would survive, say maybe 20 years back from now, when we did not have mobile handsets, today, even the lower strata of the person is also having a smartphone. Did we ever imagine 20 years back that this could be a scenario? Or for that matter, computers. I mean, who is not having a computer in his home? So, things are changing so rapidly. Today, what I'm thinking that is, difficult for me to think, maybe, the technological disruptions or innovations are happening so fast that, what, what we gained in last, say, 20 years, we are going to gain maybe in next, more than that in next 3 to 5 years time. So it's going to be different for sure.
Okay. Another question is the implementation of this QBD instead of QBT will reduce the cost of the finished product, which will be easy for everyone to buy with good quality of drug.
Absolutely, very much. But the only thing is, the challenge, as I mentioned, is with existing facilities. Now, what do you do with so much of investment already done? Is there any specific incentive to a pharma manufacturer which will, encourage them to adopt such new technologies? That's a big question mark.
Okay. Now I have two questions for you. May I ask you?
Yeah, sure.
First question, you talked about the artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, IoT, blockchain, all of the pharma boost, right? These are the emerging technology that will come up in near future. But thing is that in pharma graduates, the pharmacy students, they do not have any idea on IT because all of these techniques are IT enabled. We don't have any IT knowledge in our syllabus. What is your suggestion? How our student will cope up with this and they can work in this kind of field in pharma industry?
I think there is a need today to relook at our curriculum or university curriculum of this pharmacy courses. If I used to study in my time, I used to study, say, the pharmaceutical engineering. How is it connected to pharmacy? It is a lot. But then, is it a medicine manufacturing? No. So if we could do that, why not AI, machine learning in today's pharmacy curriculum? It is possible, and it should be done. But at the same time, you need not be master in these technologies because the core area of a pharmacist is the medicinal chemistry, the pharmaceutical science, which you are master at. So it has to be, I mean, this curriculum of pharmacy should be a blend of all of this which are required in the industry. But at the same time, I mean, you need not be master in one subject of it unless you really choose to go in that direction and provide a specific solution from that.
Okay, but my specific question is that this AI, ML, IoT, blockchain that will be done by software people or IT people. So what will be our role, specific role?
See, okay. Again, I take the same example.
I mean, how can we involve?
That's a good question. That's good question. I will tell you. With the same example, as I learned pharma engineering in my B.Pharm courses, I did never use for myself to draw a engineering drawing in my industry tenure. How I used it is my engineers used to do it. When they came and presented to me a pharmaceutical drawing, I understand what they are saying. That is so important.
Okay.
If I, as a user of a pharmaceutical plant, I need to run a pharmaceutical facility, I do not know what my service provider, whether it is my internal service provider or external, is providing me, whether it will meet my requirement or not. How do I know? So from that sense, it is important.
Okay. Okay, thank you. My next question about 3D printing. You have told that 3D printing like Spritam, right, anti-epileptic drugs, that was first drug tablets that was made by 3D printing technology. You have said that this 3D printing technology is applied just for customized to produce customized pill for personalized medicine or
Yeah.
precise medicine. As per the patient needs, it will be prepared. But think this will be applicable for solids, right? What about the liquids and injectable? That is not applicable to 3D printing technology.
See, it doesn't matter, because see, these various dosage forms. Why do we produce these various dosage forms? First and foremost is ease of formulation. Okay, that certain dosage forms you can't produce as a tablet, or certain dosage forms you can't produce as injectables. So ease of formulation. Second is use of administration and the patient benefit. Now, if we are meeting all these requirements in a single dosage form, how does it matter whether it is liquid, injectable, or tablet? It doesn't matter.
Okay. Okay.
But for that saying, having said that, that doesn't mean that it will not have any of its limitation. I'm not saying that. It will have its own limitation. I mean, it is a whole lot of permutation, combination when it comes to research
Yeah,
and
yeah.
development.
I was just wondering that what about the QC QA of that product after 3D printing technology? What about the QC quality control can be done? That will be done by machine, right?
Yeah. In ideal scenario, I mean, we don't need any other end product testing if we have a PAT enabled processing. So yes, you're right.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chakraborty. Thank you so much. I think there is no question left. Uh, Another question asked by Shobhan Bose. I think this question already asked by someone: to maximize the strength and minimize the threat of Indian pharma industry, what are the best approach to measure in collaboration with pharma industry and academic professionals? Already you have replied.
Yeah. So I think we need to think everything in a different light. Uh, there is enough of infrastructure, capability, skills, uh, our competencies. There is no shortage of it. We are best talent in the world, but can we come together and leverage our strengths, or maximize our results uh,
Yeah,
in the final form, which is patient benefit? Can we
yeah.
keep that in mind, that we are serving for the patients? There is a larger purpose to it.
To achieve the patient outcome, maximum outcome.
Exactly.
Uh, this is the question asked by Professor Pal, Professor Tapas Kumar Pal. He asked whether 3D printing can be customized at retail pharmacy level to dispense personalized pill as per doctor's individual prescription. You have explained this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is what
it
they
can be.
say. That
Yeah,
is what is possible, absolutely possible. Now it all depends upon that level of infrastructure being put in place,
yeah,
and above all, the knowledge about the technology and confidence on it. If I am
exactly.
a pharmacy owner, if I don't know about this technology, or even if I know, I'm not sure about it, I will never invest on it. So that's the bigger challenge.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Now I would like to hand over to Professor Pranav Chakraborty, sir.
Very good evening, and my hearty, warm wishes to my beloved student, Mr. Subroto Chakraborty, who has given an extraordinary depiction from the genesis of pharmaceutical industry to a phase-wise development in which manner it is progressing in India and abroad, where we have progressed, where we are to be progressed. In a very lucid language, he has uh, depicted each and every tidbit of the strength and weakness of our industry, strength and weakness of our academic and industry interaction, the application in which manner the artificial intelligence, robotics, machine learning, data analytics will be handled. Each and everything we have learned a lot, and particularly I'll request all of my faculty members that more or less what he has described is a new vista. Since the course of study we have passed, each and every day from different luminaries of our profession, they have told repeatedly how the course of study, course curriculum to be changed. It is to be understood by us, and ultimately we have to give the thought to the course makers, because the technology is progressing very fast and we are not progressing at all. We are learning with the same previous ideas, and particularly, I'm sorry to say, when the world is progressing in acceleration manner, we are trying to decelerate our profession. After some days, certainly, if we don't have the idea of this IT-enabled technology with the previous one, we'll be nowhere in the globe. So it is the duty of the teachers as well as the people who are at the helm of affairs of making the course to understand where we are and what position we have to gain. Otherwise, everything will be in vain, because when the companies will ask for the ideas, as Subroto told previously, Sanjay Das Mahapatra has told that we should not understand everything, but we should understand what the basics of that IT-enabled progress. We are not software engineers, but we must know what is behind the curtain, what is the mechanism in which manner we can progress. It is the duty of the faculty members to understand and hear their voice for development of our course, so that industry academia interaction will gain its own acceleration, speed, velocity. Otherwise, tomorrow, I will not say gloomy, it will be difficult. So with this, again, I am extending my hearty wishes to all my learned faculty members from different colleges, universities, directors, professors, head of the departments, directors of our university, and particularly today's guest. We are the host, and I am host of all the panelists each and every day. So with their suggestion and active participation, we should go forward, we should sell, and I'll request Subroto also. Beforehand also I have discussed with him, more or less every day we discuss, at least 1 or 2 days in a week with all these panelists. Yeah, how to amalgamate, how to throw light, new light to our students, our faculties, to our education system, that tomorrow will be ours. Don't worry. I think they are with us. We must go ahead with this. I conclude my speech, and again I am telling thank you and love to Subroto and all our staffs, faculty members, and specifically, again I am telling Mr. Prem Kumar, who has taken all the pains. He is now staying in the university at 2042, and probably after finishing he will go out where the university campus, second campus is there. Till now it is, so to say, no man's land.